So on the...
You start questioning first.
It doesn't matter. We start with follow-up. It has been almost a month since we last did this.
Yeah.
And in that previous podcast, we discussed about your education path and how you ended up becoming a counselor. And then we discussed a little bit about me. Finally, we went to New Year's resolution or theme. Right. So how's your New Year's resolution coming along?
Ooh, spicy. I suppose one of the things that I said in the previous podcast, it's about the theme of myself. It's more on my, God orientation. Whatever that I do, it relates to God orientation. So in that sense, in that perspective, I'm going through with all the planning in terms of prayers, whatever that related to spirituality.
And I also mentioned that UTP is a engineering university. I think that's gonna upset some people that are doing management courses and applied science. So UTP is not an engineering university, right?
No more?
Is it still engineering? It's not engineering.
Yeah, because we diluting, I suppose, because we started to offer
Diluting, diversifying.
Okay, thanks. Like a better word, yeah. Diversifying into providing courses like
AP, AC,
and then business management.
Yeah.
Yep.
So recently I was given an offer to extend my contract. As you know, I'm on a contract in UTP.
Yeah.
And I've decided to say no.
Yeah. I knew about this. You told me. What happened?
So I don't feel that I'm being compensated enough for the amount of work that I do. So
have you said no?
No, I'm going to say no.
You're going to say no?
Because my current contract ends in April, which is next month. So the process of renewing the contract starts this month.
So are you saying actually you are opposing your principles of being passion in research? Cool.
I like doing research, but the thing that I'm trying to limit myself is in terms of work-life balance, I suppose, because I'm given the freedom of not clocking into work. But for me, because of that, I tend to work at home. So when I'm awake, I read some news and then I'm working. Then at night, when it's supposed to be past office hours, if I'm at home, I'm still working because I feel there's no physical separation between work and
for you to say no is because for you to define, because you don't have the ability to define what is work and what is life, then that makes you feel this is not enough to compensate you.
I think I have this perfectionist tendency. So let's say I finish a work, I would say, okay, it's not good enough, and I would try to improve on it again and again.
Is that like you feel like it's not enough, or after reading some things from these journal or articles, then it takes you into new ideas, or how?
Not saying new ideas, just that
so you feel not enough.
Yeah, I feel that it's the work that I'm doing is not complete. For example, I read from A to C. In that material, I learned that there is substance D. I'm now trying to search for D. Then when I find D, it's going to mention there's E, F, G. Okay, for you to do so much work, you need to be compensated in terms of financially or other benefits.
Yeah,
but I don't see that compensation. So at the end of this, what do I get?
So you start questioning this, do you?
Yeah, it's not worth my time, not worth burning out. I like research, but I don't want to burn out. Well,
if you have specific answers to your own, because you question yourself, bila nak habis ni? Kan? So if you have your own answers of it should be stopped, and then because I want to start like researching new things or new area, then I do not have enough time for this because I keep on researching about the same things, but in expansion of the knowledge lah kan, from A to Z. So if you have the answers, I suppose you got to go up towards your, your answers. It's just that I might not get this right lah, because I'm not a researcher kan. I am a counselor. Well, because we are...
Who has a passion in research?
Because both of us human, and everyone who listen here is also human. When you talk about there's blurry in terms of work and life, like there is no distinct, like, okay, this is work, this is life. You wake up and then you immediately get to your work, but you might have something that you have to do for your life. Well, I attended like a seminar. Basically the seminar is actually brought by Petronita, if I'm not mistaken. So the speaker is who's that lady? The first Malaysian lady working with NASA that goes to angkasa. Angkasa apa?
Space?
Yeah, to the space. Her name is I don't remember, tapi Malaysian.
Go to space?
Yeah.
Lady?
Nama ayah dia Wan Salim, tapi I tak ingat.
We had 2 angkasawan? Wait, angkasawati. Tak tahu.
To the space. I do not know, but she go to, not on the ground lah, basically.
She went to space?
I'm not sure whether it's a space, but a place where dia tak boleh jejak kaki dekat tanah.
Okay, terapung-apung.
Yes. So I'm not sure whether it's a space ke tidak, but I do remember her name, basically. I remember the word that she used for this work-life balance. So basically, I talked to my father. I said her names lah, basically. So when I stopped at her father's name, Wan Salim, he said that, oh, this is ulama dekat Penang. I was like, oh, okay, wow, subhanallah, hebatnya. Anak ulama jadi pergi kerja kat NASA kan. Okay, so what she said in the seminar, basically, she's not married. I have to put this disclaimer, yeah. She's not married yet. I'm not sure now. She said that she see work and life as one entity. So there is no difference of work and life. So whatever that you working, that's contribute to life, and that's your life. And whatever that you do in your life, it considering you are working on it. So maybe her perspective is not about compensation, but it's more on, how you drive your life, something like this. So when you said blurry just now, because for me, how do I, considering my life, I agreed to her terms, which is work and life have to be seen as one entity.
I suppose she's well compensated for blurring the lines.
I'm not sure. I
mean, if I'm earning 10k a month, I don't mind doing it.
Yeah. Well, I agree on that too. Yeah.
So let's go to our main topic, student dress code.
I have still not finished talking about my angry.
Okay, let me set the stage. So Wednesday about 1:30 I came to Kak Fatiha's office.
Oh, yeah.
And it was supposed to be, how are you? Hi, bye. But then she mentioned that she was supposed to be facilitating a discussion on amending the dress code.
Revising
the dress code for students in UTP.
Mm-hmm.
She invited me, and both of us went. The plan was I was supposed to be the opposition, as in I'm supposed to oppose UTP. But yeah, things were a little bit different on that day. The proposal given by SRC, for me, it was good enough. Meaning that for male, you can have long hair, but up to your collar.
They state the collar?
Yeah, they stated up to your collar. For me, that was good enough.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
But
the argument, right?
But it was argued that you should have hair length longer than collar length.
Any length, like
Any length.
2 meters, 3 meters,
Yeah.
whatever meters.
Yes. The next proposal by SRC was to have hair dyed, but only limited to natural hair colors, such as blonde,
Brown,
reddish brown, natural hair colors, not blue, not green.
Yeah.
But that proposal was also opposed, saying that they wanted hair to be dyed of all colors.
So excessive without any specific definition.
Yeah.
Yay!
So we have our thoughts on this. So I will let you go first because I've stated my thought out in public.
I was there as assistant facilitator, so I actually was not allowed to give biased opinion towards agreeing to the proposal or disagree to the proposal of revising the student dress code. So how do I act at the first place was really listen and really look through how the behaviors of the workshop participants, not really interrupting in the discussion. But when the discussion seems not going anywhere, so I start to getting them together for them to at least have agreement on whether this proposal can be going for their approval or not. So once I get into this tone of becoming facilitators of having tone of, okay, we must have agreement for this proposal, or we have to disagree, or we have to amend on certain words. So having this tone, I start to really get interact or engage with the workshop participants, and when really go through that specific proposal of hair related, because that was the first question being asked, whether this can be agreed. I mean, the proposal can be agreed or disagreed. And then, but before that, it was, some people start to have their own opinion of opposing the ideas of having this long hair. But suddenly, at the end, because after one, really strong strong person.
Yeah, a strong voice within the crowd.
Within the crowd, saying, his point of view. And suddenly everyone, just agree with the statement. And then I suddenly interrupt in the workshop and I said, guys, this will be in our student rules. Please really look through the sentences, such as long hair can be allowed to the male student. Please really look through this, because this is gonna be our student rules. And they get back to the answers of agreeing to the proposal. I started to feel not okay, because in my opinion, I actually strongly disagree with the proposal, because one of the agenda of UTP, of University Technology Petronas, is to produce well-rounded global graduates. Okay, so when there is a word of global, for me, it's about your, you can adjust in terms of culture, but it doesn't mean that it deteriorate your principles. Okay, so for me, it have to be clear that we have to stick to a right principle, which our right principle is always coming back to how does, we had been practiced in basically in a government sectors, in government universities, how does, the culture had been practiced. So there is no such thing of having long hair in government practices. And we are not totally private university. We are government linked university. So, and then with the agenda of UTP of having well-rounded global graduates, as well as imparting values for the students, long hair cannot be proposed as revising our previous dress code.
What about the hair dye issue?
Well, my argument is still
Same.
the same. I can't agree this. Because once we revising dress code, the impacts is not only now, but later when we coming with a new student. I am imagining, like everyone can have long hair.
This is for males. We are talking about males. Okay.
Male, yeah. Long hair and then dyes the hair. Like, just imagine angkat Ikra Pelajar, all this week, orientation week. Then we set the tone that this is possible to be in future. And I don't think this is a very good culture, as in we are like producing graduates toward, corporate workforce, professional workforce. No, I can't agree with the proposal.
I'm against with long hair, but I'm okay with if it's up to collar length. Personally, I think that dyeing your hair blonde is not a good thing, as in appearance and people's perception. Because their argument is they are upholding freedom of expression. But I feel that they are being very narrow with their view, because freedom of expression doesn't warrant you freedom of consequence.
Yeah, I agreed.
Because we, as in students, we are a part of a system. There are students, there are managements, there are companies that support UTP.
Yep.
There is the community that is surrounding UTP, the state government.
Yep. This is all stakeholders.
So there are so many people playing part in this university. The thing is, when you say you want freedom of expression, you have to take into account the community here. I feel that the community here is slightly more conservative compared to communities in KL. And we have to take into account because we do CSR activities with the community.
Yeah.
So are you not going to take into account what they say and impose your will towards the rule? Also, we do these activities called reaching out to schools.
Yeah.
You're going to schools, okay? You are a student and you're going to schools. You're going to meet younger generations. They are going to look up to you in terms of how you dress, how you present yourself.
Yeah.
You are not going to be a good model if you have long hair, have rainbow colored hair dye. That's not going to bring a good image.
Because can I just add another one more point? We are not talking, when people dye their colors, they are not good. We are not associating dyeing colors, dyeing hair with like all these bright colors. This person is not good personally, but we are arguing in terms of stakeholders. We are providing, role model.
Yeah. So I'm going to add another point where we need to take into account stakeholders. For example, let's say you're going for an interview with Petronas. They expect people to be well groomed in terms of their appearance. There's already a standard set. When you go to an interview, your hair is short, presentable, and if you have dyed hair, maybe not the one that is too striking. Okay, maybe natural hair colors acceptable. But yeah, UTP's one of the main, I'm not sure if it's still their main objective, is to groom leaders. And if you look at leaders nowadays, most of them are well groomed in terms of having short hair, neat, and not having fancy colored hairs.
Yesterday, because I have the unfinished business upon the workshop, so I really talk about this the nights that I go back to my house, and then yesterday with some students that I've met. So I found one point that could be, maybe because we have a different perspective, we're looking in from different perspective. So I suppose when we talk about leaders, maybe the new, I don't know, can I say new generation, or those young people for now, maybe they are looking, leaders, they are no more associating with national leaders or company or corporate leaders, but they associating with social media influencer, artists, all these like singer. I don't know, but maybe I can use the word of social media influencer, because social media influencer maybe more, this is how they see leaders, because social media influencers also have their own like really big crowd group of 100K of followers, and maybe they show something like different with the national leaders, corporate leaders, something like this. So it could be because they grown up with this leaders, social media influencer. Maybe I just try to understand from their perspective.
Mm-hmm.
But I do not know whether is it true or not.
I get you. I'm not trying to be like a anti-cool mafia or something. Yes, you can look up to them, but then at the end of the day, you're going to a university and you are responsible for so many things. You're responsible to your university. You're responsible to all the stakeholders of the university.
The community,
the
sponsors,
yeah, everyone that
the
attach their
company.
name with the UTP logo, UTP brand. So if they're going to sponsor anything, they will have their own prejudice. Their own prejudice is a strong word. Their own standard. That's why you have to respect their opinion. So you can't shove your opinions. You have to meet the demands halfway. Yeah.
And in the end, it's not about suppressing you from, feeling the freedom, but it's actually grooming you to be, somebody that you might not able to think in your future.
Mm-hmm.
You are like maybe 10, 20 years back from who had, written up all this dress code, but they have their experience of how futures looks like. You might see, you are the futures, basically. You are the futures, but you might not have a clear picture of how future looks like.
So we share the same view.
Yay! Yes.
But I think that even if they manage to convince the
workshop
the
participants,
workshop participants, I feel like the Senate has more power.
Hopefully, I am actually like having a big hope.
I feel that it's completely absurd.
Okay, so thank you, Tips.
Okay.
Have a good weekend.